We're changing gears now. Last week, the sports world was rocked by a lawsuit filed by more than 500 former NFL players who claim they face permanent injuries due to overuse of painkillers prescribed by NFL team doctors. The players say they were not told of potential side effects and long-term problems from the use of the prescription drugs and anti-inflammatories. Joining us now is the attorney for the NFL players who have filed that lawsuit, Steven Silverman. Jarrett Bell is the NFL columnist for USA Today, and Time senior writer, Gregory. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Steve, let me start with you. I have heard since this lawsuit was filed, some people say the players themselves were the pressuring agents. They wanted to get back on the field because A, they wanted to play, and B, they knew their contracts and financial futures depended on it. They were the driving forces on this. Your suit says exactly the opposite. What's your evidence?
Well, the evidence is literally hundreds of sworn affidavits from our clients dating back to the late 1960s. The focus here is that controlled dangerous substances have been regulated by state and federal law since 1970, and we as a society have said we are taking this out of the hands of regular people and putting this under the auspices of doctors, and doctors are controlling the procurement and distribution of controlled dangerous substances and prescription substances. And it is not the choice of us individuals, whether you're an athlete or a fireman or a teacher, to say, I want to take this, I want to take that. So we put the responsibility with the doctors and the medical people, and those medical people that work for the NFL have breached that trust and are in complete control over what is dispensed, how it's dispensed, and what quantity it's dispensed. This is not a choice. We are in a society where the responsibility is with the doctor, and we trust the doctor.
And that trust was broken according to the lawsuit. What do you want to come out of it? Monetary damages, of course, but what remedial action do you want the NFL to take to more explicitly address this underlying issue?
We want the NFL to expand the rosters so that players who are hurt have the opportunity to mend their injuries. We want the NFL to provide independent, the funding for independent physicians for active players to be able to monitor what the team doctors are saying or doing, because there's an inherent conflict of interest.
Okay, very good. Jarrett, what's your sense of this lawsuit, how damaging it is potentially for the NFL?
Well, on the heels of the concussion lawsuit, I think it's very troubling from the NFL because it's yet another pillar that really kind of strikes to the fabric of the league and the popularity of the league and things of that nature. Some of the things that are reflected here have been addressed by the league, really, in terms of the medical standards. I think more needs to be done, more can be done, and this casts a light on some of those issues. But I think just to circle back for a second to something that Steve talked about, there are going to be a lot of questions about the personal responsibility of players and the context of this and within the whole culture of the NFL. It's like a gladiator culture, really, and we've seen changes come with the concussion lawsuit in terms of how that is addressed, and I think this will cast more light on that.
Sean, your thoughts?
And legalities aside, this is the next step in the exploration of violence in the game. We've talked about concussions, explored that. Now we're putting focus on organ damage, knee damage, all this kind of stuff. So now, what's going to happen to the future of football? Youth football already, Pop Warner has had a decline of 9.5% in their participation between 2010 and 2012. When we did a cover story on Roger Goodell in November of 2012, from 2007 to 2011, there's another stat that said tackle football participation, kids between the ages of 6 and 12 was down 35%. So no matter what the number is, less kids seem to be playing football. So where are we going to go from there?
Steve, you said that the NFL has made billions of dollars as a result of drug use that would be prohibited for horses. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is you have a culture of putting profit before players in the NFL. There is zero regulation inside the locker rooms, a total disregard for the law, and we have clients that literally are being told one thing, and the ramifications are monstrous to them. For example,
Well, hold on one second, because we have about 1 minute. Jarrett, and Sean, I want to ask you this, because you're in these locker rooms. Lawless places where players are treated like livestock?
There's definitely a meat market culture with the NFL, and there's so much pressure. It's inherent in the game. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that really is underscored in all of this. Players play this sport knowing that there are inherent risks. Now the question is whether or not you're getting the medical attention that is really fair to the players and the ethics of the people who are treating the players.
And Sean, do you think this is a 1970s and 80s problem that's been largely addressed, or still a 21st century NFL problem?
I think it's gotten a lot better from the NFL's point of view. You hear from different recently retired players. Some say it's still a problem. Some say they got excellent care. This suit, at the very least, perhaps, will make team doctors wake up and realize we've got to follow the rules.
Sports writer Sean Gregory, Jarrett Bell, and attorney Steve Silverman, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had time for more conversation on this. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.